Alright, I made these packets for you guys. On the front cover, it's 3 facts I want you to take from the PowerPoint presentation I'm doing. Okay, so while we're doing this, I want you to write down 3 facts. You need to put your name and the date. Alright, also, we are going to do a life cycle of a toad. So that'll be, you guys will write that in there too. And then, on this part here, this, and I haven't got, I'm going to get the tadpoles tomorrow and set them up. But tomorrow will be your first day that you will log in. You're going to draw a picture of what the tadpoles look like. And then write the date here, and you can write words if you want, describing what the tadpoles look like. Now, in light of that, what I want you to realize, when I put this together, I initially thought we were going to do frogs. And once I did a little research, I realized that the tadpoles I might harvest from the 1,000 Acre Swamp in Penfield, because that's where I'm getting it from, I won't know what kind of tadpoles they are, whether they are toads or frogs. So I thought, well, I will go with what I'm most likely to gather. So we're gonna actually focus on toads, but our tadpoles might turn out to be frogs. And I thought that might be kind of a scientific neat thing to do, that once they're adults, we'll be able to tell what kind of, if they are a frog or a toad, and whether or not they're a frog or a toad, and whether or not what kind of frog or toad that they are. So our chances of, here we go. Our chances are we're going to get a specific kind of toad. So that's what we're going to focus on today. Could you give Chantavia one too? Chantavia, can you follow along? Just because I want your input on what you think, because you're an older student, what you think of the presentation, okay? Is that all right? All right. So, toads and frogs in room 208. One of the neat things we're going to do is we're going to have our very own tadpoles. Where do we start? The first stage. It's where we begin. All right, Miss Buck and Mrs. Johnson brought tadpoles into the classroom. We are. We're going to raise them to be adult frogs and then release them. Or we're going to actually, they're going to be toads, right? So I got to change that. We will learn about the life cycle of frogs and toads from books and videos in the classroom. There's a video at the end of this I want you to watch too, that it's a little short one. And you will observe and record about the growth in a tadpole journal. That was the journal that we gave to you. You will watch Mrs. Buck's presentation on frogs and toads. This will happen over 2 months. So this will bring us up to the end of the year. So come June, we'll be winding this up. Our next stop, our second stage, if you look, you have like these are the little tadpoles. I thought they were kind of cute, so I put them in there. After we are finished observing and raising our toads, you will think about what you have learned about toads. Now this is the exciting part because you're going to copy Miss Buck. Where do toads live? How do they grow? What do they eat? What animals eat them? And what do they need to survive? So we're going to learn about all those things, and you will need to write down 1 or 2 important facts. You guys are going to write actually 3 today. And do this in a small group with Mrs. Johnson and Mrs. Buck. Miss Buck. And our third stage, and I just plunked it out there. Let's make our own movie. Mrs. Johnson and Miss Buck will film you talking about what you have learned. You will share the movie with the other 3rd grade classes, or maybe your parents, or we can maybe get Miss Riley to come in here. Yes. And we will have the movie ready so our families can see them too. Now, let's talk about frogs and toads. And does anybody recognize this guy? Raise your hand.
Oh.
Yanais.
Can't see that frog.
Jamar Ali.
It's a poison dart frog.
It's a poison dart frog. Keep it on me, Jeremy. It's about me. It is a poison dart frog. Okay, frogs and toads and are amphibians. What are amphibians? Who wants to read the first one? Yanais.
They begin life breathing under the water with gills.
So, our little tadpoles are like fish. They have gills. So they begin life underwater. They're eggs and then they hatch into tadpoles. That is one of the things that makes an amphibian an amphibian. And then what's the next stage? Wanna try it? Go ahead.
They then change to become our
Air.
breathing animals with lungs.
So that's another thing about amphibians, is that they start out almost like a fish. And then they change into a land animal that breathes air naturally. They don't have gills at that point, they lose them. This change is called a metamorphosis, or the life cycle of a frog. So if you see, now this is one of the things that, and if you guys want to take notes too while I'm talking, you can do that too. I won't see that as rude. That's one of the things that's in your packet that you need to do, is to complete the life cycle of the frog.
Right now?
You can do that as I talk, or we can do it later. Doesn't matter. As long as you're paying attention. You don't need to talk about it. What kind of frogs do we have in the classroom? Okay, that's toads. I made a mistake. Because initially when I started this, it was frogs, so if somebody can make a note for me to change that. This is the Eastern American toad, and I found this on the website. I found these pictures. It is a stout, tan to red to brown body, and very noticeable warts. He's very warty. And the skin is thick and dry, adapted for living on land, and he's got a large belly. So we've all seen them. They're the big fat guys that you see hopping around. They're about 3 inches. They live in forests, wetlands, fields, and with lots of vegetation. They're carnivorous. They eat insects and herbivores. They are loud. They make, and you'll know by the end of this that we're going to go through, and then at the very end you're going to hear them. And they breed, they reproduce, they multiply. I'm waiting because we have some talkers, and that's not okay. Jeremy, can you read that for us?
No, I was just about to say about the camera. I stopped recording, then it turned off, then I had to turn it back on and start recording again.
Oh, I hope you got it. Are you sure you started it?
Yeah.
Okay, that's all right. I can give her pieces, it doesn't matter. Tadpoles eat algae and small bugs. So when they're tadpoles, when they're in the water swimming around, they eat algae and small bugs. Toads eat slugs, spiders, and insects, including beetles and ants.
Ew.
That's their diet. Oh! Oh yeah, you can see the pictures that are coming around.
What is that?
Am I cool with the special effects? Because I forgot I did that.
Yeah.
All right, predators. Yes, ma'am.
What is algae?
Algae it's like a plant. That's a really good question. Thank you for asking. I'm gonna wait a second though, because there's some talkers going on. Algae is an actual plant that grows, and it usually grows in swamps, and it's a plant, right? Algae's a plant, right? Yeah. I just want to make sure I have that right. And it's like a free-floating plant even, and you see it a lot of times on top of swamps, like a film of algae, and that's what they eat. Now, what eats the Eastern American toads? What eats them? Raccoons, snakes, birds, fish, and owls. And I had to put an owl in there, it's beautiful. And this, I specifically made sure this was an eastern owl. So all these animals, and you see this guy? The snake's eating the toad.
Oh.
And then I never knew that skunks ate toads. I never knew that. I thought they were just, I didn't know they ate meat. They were vegetarians. Oh, there's the raccoon fighting. All right, where do toads and frogs need to live? Anybody want to answer that question?
Oh.
Where?
Water.
Where else? Oh, what do they need to live? Yeah. What do they need to live? Yes. Food. What else? Gentavia. Habitat. Who knows what habitat is?
Then we did this without looking at it.
Yes.
A place where animals live.
A place where animals live. Very good. You could do it without it, but I thought maybe the hints would help so you guys could get the answers. If you want to do it without the answers, that's fine, whatever. Oh, and they need safety. So if they're not safe, what does it mean if they're not safe?
Not true.
What does it mean if they're not safe? Yes.
They'll get eaten by a snake.
They'll get eaten by a snake. That's not very safe, is it?
No.
No.
They'll get swallowed whole.
Alright, want to know more about toads? Guess what we're gonna do?
Learn more about toads.
What else?
It's coming. Maybe not. Let me go over here.
End of slideshow.
Yeah. Believe it or not.
You guys keep it on his butt.
Hey, what's up, YouTube?
Keep it on me.
Well, you guys all get an A because you're doing a great job. I want to make sure
I'm B.
get here. Alright, here we go. So this is a
Eastern
fun
American toad can easily be identified
Ain't he
by its
cute?
dry, rough skin and lines behind the eyes.
Ew.
Its dorsal color can vary from brown to reddish to olive, with scattered dark spots, each encircling 1 to 3. Their
But you
thick
guys
skin,
can do
which
this
traps
with your
and binds
videos.
roots better than most amphibians, allows toads to live greater distances from water than most frogs. Toads live in a wide variety of
Shaking.
habitats, ranging from prairies to wetlands to forests.
Yeah.
Toads lay eggs in long strands, unique among Wisconsin's amphibians. Toad tadpoles form schools, also unique among Wisconsin frogs. The Eastern American toad can be found statewide.
Now these toads are also found in New York State as well, just so you guys know. I did research. So, but I found this video about them and I thought it was very informative. So I just thought it was kind of neat. You guys can shut those off now.